Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Robbie Mikowski with Fox Sports North, joined by the general manager of the Minnesota Twins, Terry Ryan. Thanks to those of you who have liked the Twins season ticket holder page on Facebook. And we're going to do a little Q&A. Terry, a lot of fans are curious about the direction of the ball club and want to know a little bit about the inner workings of the Twins operation. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, let's give this a try.
You're going to give it a try. Because you know, social media, that's all the kids communicate these days, Terry.
I'm well aware of that, Rob, so we can give it a try even though I'm not too good at it. How about that?
First question comes from Tim in Minneapolis, Terry, and he wants to know your thoughts on Byron Buxton. What are the areas of his game that need the most improvement? And how's he going to fast-track his way through the minor league system and find his way into a Twins uniform here at Target Field?
He's a highly skilled player. He's got all the attributes of being the second pick in the draft, first for the Twins. He can run, he can throw, he can field, he's got range. All he needs is repetition and facing competition, professional competition. He's going to see a lot more breaking balls than he's ever seen in his life. They're going to pitch him tough because of his reputation. But his work ethic, and we need to get him acclimated, and the repetitions and playing 6 or 7 days a week and lifting weights and the nutrition and all the things that come with the grind of professional baseball is about all he needs, and then he'll dictate his progress.
For those fans that are baseball fans out there, what player would you liken him to that's currently in the big leagues?
Well, I've heard comparisons on this guy to Adam Jones with the Orioles, which is okay. I would say that this kid for me is more like McCutchen of the Pirates. They're same body types. They came out of high school about the same time. They both are center fielders. They were both really thin. Buxton's still a thin kid, as was McCutchen 8 years ago. They have a lot of similarities. I'm hoping Buxton pans out as well as Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen's an awful good player.
That's pretty good. We just saw Andrew McCutchen last week and how good a player he is. Thanks to Tim from Minneapolis for the question. Brian from Onalaska, Wisconsin wants to know, Terry, who do you think is the best all-around player in the game today, and who's the most dominant pitcher?
Well, it might be both with this guy. Verlander's the most dominant pitcher, and he is the MVP in this league, so consequently he could be both. His teammate, Miguel Cabrera, is one of the best players. He's probably the best right-handed hitter in the game. He has the most fearsome power. Matt Kemp with the Dodgers. I haven't seen as much Major League Baseball as I should have, being out here for a while. But, you know, the kid in St. Louis, Molina, is one of the better players in the game, even though he's a catcher. Josh Hamilton's awfully good when you keep on the diamond. He's been hurt some, but when he's out there, he's about as good as there is. Anybody who's got the combination of the offense, the power, you know, a guy that can steal a base like Hamilton. McCutchen's an awful good player. So those skilled guys, those are kind of the people that you'll see in the MVP voting. Braun with Milwaukee. Braun's one of the better players in the game. He's got power. He's pretty good defensively. He might be the toughest out we've seen this year.
And Brian also wants to know, who'd you idolize growing up?
Well, I grew up in southern Wisconsin, and I'm going to put my age out there. This is rather long ago, but I was a Henry Aaron fan. When the Milwaukee Braves played in Wisconsin, back in the day, there wasn't any better player in the game than Aaron, and that was the years when Mays and Mantle and all those other guys were around. I loved Henry Aaron.
It's a good guy to have as your role model. Jim from New Prague wants to know about Trevor Plouffe's emergence. What adjustments has he made, and what factors do you use when a guy is struggling like Plouffe was earlier this season? We think, all right, maybe he needs a bit more time here at the big league level, or do you send him back to AAA to get more reps? How does that process work?
Well, the process with him worked different because he's out of options, and if we would have exposed him to the waiver wire, somebody would have picked him, so that wasn't even a consideration. Plouffe had done so much at Rochester last year that he didn't need any more AAA time. He wasn't one of those guys that needs to go back and polish up his trade at all. He just needed some confidence, and he went through a tough April, as did this club. It wasn't just Trevor Plouffe. There are a lot of guys that we were having problems getting going, and Plouffe has always had power. He's always been able to drive a ball to the opposite field, so it's not like he's a pull-oriented guy that got pull-happy. But he did swing at balls out of the zone. He wouldn't take a walk. You know, there are things. His defense started to affect him again. We moved him all over. We pushed him to the outfield. We've had him at second. We've had him at short. We've had him at third. Ironically, you know, the Valencia situation got bad enough where we did have to send him back, and it allowed Plouffe to go to third and get regular at-bats because Revere was doing such a good job. So here it is. He got an opportunity to play third, but he also got an opportunity to get consistent at-bats. That's about what happened.
See, all you people out there think Terry has an easy job. Think of all that went into just one guy having to think about whether you move, keep him up at the bigs, or whether you send him
Robbie,
down.
usually players dictate my decisions. A guy like Revere, all right, he's doing the job. He's going to play. All right, now where do you put Plouffe? Well, you can put him a lot of places because he's got versatility. That's the best thing. He's very similar to Kadire. Both those guys can play a lot of spots.
Yeah. A lot goes into the thought process. Cody from Ramsey wants to know, Terry, how concerned are you about the perceived lack of depth in starting pitching throughout the organization, and what do you do to remedy that situation?
Well, our pitching has been a problem, the rotation. We've done okay in the bullpen. I have to admit the bullpen's held up their end. Our rotation has struggled mightily from the get-go. Now we got a couple of those guys on the DL, Walters and Pavano. Of course, Baker's out for the year. You're going to test anybody's depth in a rotation when you start losing guys, but you know, Diamond, ironically, he's come up and been our best guy, and he didn't even start the year with us. So you can look at this on paper and say, oh boy, the Twins are in deep trouble. We aren't in any more trouble than a bunch of clubs. We've got some issues. We need to get some people back, obviously, but we also need to have some of these people step forward. And Dunsing's going to get a chance now, so he should take advantage of it. And obviously you've got Diamond that's done a good job. Blackburn is a mystery to me. Nick has got ability. I just don't understand it because he certainly could be a guy for us, and he struggled badly. We need to fix the guys that are struggling and certainly have the other guys take a step forward. Plus, we can reach down. We have other pitchers down in the AAA and AA that are ultimately going to get here. It's not as dismal as it might look on a stat page, and I understand it's not good either, but we'll fix it. There are other ways, free agency and 6-year free agents and waivers and Rule 5 picks and trades and all that stuff. You can piece together things in a hurry if you make good baseball decisions.
Not like you haven't built a team that won 6 division titles in 9 years under Ron Gardhire.
Yeah.
Kyle from Prescott, Wisconsin. Terry, this is a great question. Trade deadline's coming up July 31st. What is the process like? Does somebody contact you? Is it email, phone call, text, seeing somebody in person? What is the process like when somebody approaches you or you approach somebody about making a deal?
Usually the best way to start the process is have a like partner here. Somebody needs what you have, vice versa. And it's as simple as picking up the phone or leaving a text or sending an email. It's not all that tough. I mean, it sounds like, well, you don't go through the CIA to make a trade here. You just, all right, pick up the phone. I've got something that the other team wants. We're in a tough spot. The other team might be very close to the top. So people start looking around at the standings first and foremost. All right, who's looking like they're in some trouble, and whether they're going to get back in it, we better start putting our markers out to see whether they got some thoughts about moving some people. It's that simple. And then if you have a relationship with the general manager and you can trust them and there's some integrity and there's some honesty, that's how deals are made. Nobody's trying to rob the store here. You're usually trying to make a deal that benefits both sides.
Do you just keep your cell phone plugged in all day long?
Well,
the week
we're
leading
all,
into the trade
I
deadline?
guarantee you're on yours more than I am because I'm not a big guy with that cell phone, but there isn't any problem with getting in touch with clubs. You know, you can be about anywhere in the world and you can swing a trade nowadays. In fact, I've heard about people being on cruises and they make a trade on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise, so I wouldn't know.
Kyle Gibson, how's he coming along in his rehab? And is he a possibility for September for a call-up, or does he need more time?
Yeah, I don't see a September recall for Kyle, and I don't want to diminish his importance to our future, but that would be a little aggressive for me to think that he'd be up here in September. I'm hoping that he has a healthy August and also a healthy September, and then maybe an Arizona Fall League, you know, and get him through this year health-wise, and maybe we'll see some of the mechanics and arm strength and the crispness of a breaking ball, and you know, all the other things, holding runners, those types of things are more important than to see him in Minnesota in September. I just don't see that. But all those other things I'm looking forward to.
One last thing, if you can give us some insight. Your free agent pickups have been outstanding. You look at Jamie Carroll's been a great addition, Jared Burton in the bullpen, and obviously Josh Willingham.
You missed a couple that haven't been so good, but go ahead.
But it's part of the territory.
Yes,
So that leads
that's
to
right.
another question. Do you stay busy with free agency in the offseason, or you just look at that when the time comes, or do you look to develop guys? What's that part of the process like?
First of all, when you're in the free agent world, you're probably going to miss on some and hit on some. We did both this year. Secondly, it's always an avenue to bring in talent. If it's a good fit, contractually, that's another issue, whether or not that fits, and need, and then makeup and all the good things that come with bringing guys here. So you bring all that into focus. If it's a fit, okay, go get them. You know, we got needs. We're going to have needs. We might fill it with a free agent. We might fill it with a trade. We might fill it from within.
Well, Terry, thanks for giving these season ticket holders an inside look at what the process is like being the GM of a team. Sounds easy from the outside. You know that?
Actually, it's not all that difficult if you use common sense, and sometimes you got to get lucky.
There you go. That's great insight. So thanks to those of you who like the Facebook page, have a chance to watch this exclusive interview with Terry Ryan, the GM of the Minnesota Twins, and we'll see you next time right here on the Twins season ticket holder Facebook page.